Right, what we're going to look at today in this video is the two main styles of air rifle. And I'm not on about power plant, but I'm on about styles of air gun that are currently quite prevalent on the marketplace. And they are the more traditional rifle and what is commonly termed your tactical style air rifle. So what we've got here is, from the bottom, we have a traditional spring-powered wood-stock blued steel Walther Master Pro, LGV Master Pro. Then we have a more tactical, well, very tactical, Priest 2 from RTI. And then we've got another very tactical bullpup. This is a really small tactical style bullpup, and this is the Uragan Compact. This is from Airgun Technologies. And then right at the back there we have a traditionally styled PCP, and what I happen to think is one of the most beautiful air rifles ever made and currently in production, and that is the Steyr Hunting 5 Auto. Now, if we go back in time to when I was in my early teens, my very early teens, in fact before my teens, when I was actually 10 I think, if you didn't mention then an air rifle to anybody, this is roughly what they would have thought you were talking about. A wooden stock, all metal, break barrel. There were a few underlevers, like the Webley Mark III and the Air Sporter, and one or two originals. But generally speaking, nearly every other air rifle looked to some degree, more or less, like this. And this probably continued up until probably the 90s, when nearly all air rifles, or the vast majority of them anyway, resembled this gun in one way or another. You've got all your BSA Meteors, your Vulcans, your original 45s, Famework Bows, Weirauchs, Dianas, Milbros. The list goes on and on. Gamos, the list goes on and on and on and on. Jackals and all sorts. The main difference then was that they were either break barrel, which the vast majority of them were, or they were side lever or under lever. There were comparatively few side levers, but the vast majority, whether they were under lever or side lever, all looked pretty similar to this in basic layout. A nice wooden stock, blued steel action, and a fairly long barrel. And that was what most people's idea of an airgun was. In fact, probably if you ask the average bod outside of the airgunning world what they thought an airgun looks like, the Walther Master Pro would probably be roughly what they would draw you if they asked them to sketch you on. So that's what you call a traditional style air rifle. Then things started to change, probably with the advent of the first one. I remember that sort of started to look a little bit tactical, so sort of pseudo-military in its looks, was the old Sussex Armoury Jackals. Now these were basically a standard sort of side lever air rifle action, but they started to put them in black pistol grip ABS sort of pseudo-military style stocks, and they were probably the first of that sort of style air rifle to appear on the scene, and I have to say that they were incredibly popular. I remember it well when I was in school. Lads had Jackals and absolutely loved them. They thought they were the bee's knees, because they moved away from the more traditional looking air rifle and looked completely different. You know, a pistol grip, all black plastic action, stock, totally different from a traditional air rifle in looks, if not in the way they actually shot. And then as PCPs have become more and more popular, in fact almost omnipotent in the sphere of hardcore air gunners, the tactical look has really took off, and now almost every new air rifle that's released seems to be tactical looking. Black stocks, black synthetic stocks are everywhere, all over the place. Picatinny rails all over them, all sorts of things. The Priest, classic example, a definite case of function, over form and aesthetics. You know, I mean, this gun is just built to do a job, and do a job well. If you look at the older guns, you were lucky in the early days to get a scope rail. Now, obviously, they've all got scope rails, but that's about all you get. That's it. You want to fit a bipod on that? I know it's a Springer, but it's a more traditional style rifle. Good luck to you, because there's nowhere to put one. You want to put lamps on them? Nowhere to put them. You want to stick a laser on there? Nowhere to put them. You know, and then you look at the tactical ones, and they're festooned with rails all over the place. Priest, classic example, Picatinny rail at the bottom, Picatinny rail at the top, two 11mm rails, one there and one on the other side, for putting lasers on, lamps, bipods, sling swivels, all sorts of things. They really have taken that sort of functionality to the extreme, where basically if they think you might need something on the rifle, then they put it on no matter what, because they're not particularly bothered what they look like. These things are made to shoot well and to do the job, and to do the job easily without having to mess about with them or drill into any sort of stocks. Now, obviously, they still make PCPs that are styled in the more traditional sense, and the Hunting 5 is a classic example of what might be termed a bit of a crossover, really, because here you've got a very modernish, in it, at least as regards its action, rifle, but stuck in a very traditional layout. You've got traditional walnut stock, and what a beautiful walnut stock it is. Traditional for sort of PCP layout, long cylinder with a free floating barrel over the top, but the action is a 5-shot self-indexing semi-automatic, which is bang up to date, and yet it's mounted in this very traditional style, and it makes for an absolutely beautiful rifle. I'm a big fan of this gun. I love this gun to bits. It mounts into the shoulder like an English shotgun. It's beautiful. It comes up onto the aim so quickly, and it's staggeringly accurate as well. Yes, it is very, very long. You know, you look at the length of that thing, the Steyr, compared to the little Uragan. I'll just pull them level, give you a rough idea. You know, look at that. It goes on forever when you look at it compared to the Uragan. And the Uragan's got a longer silencer on it as well. But nonetheless, it is a fantastically accurate, beautiful shooting rifle, the Steyr Hunting 5. But it's still, in looks anyway, not a million miles from the more sort of traditional style air rifles that were doing the rounds when I was a youngster. You know, it's the same sort of basic layout, long barrel and a walnut wooden stock, rubber recoil pad. And then you look at these, and I mean the Uragan Compact here, tiny little thing, really small carbon fibre buddy bottle, rails for bipods, and again, you know, Picatinny rail on the top. It's side lever action. It's just a completely different ball game. Synthetic rubber coated type stock, well, textured stock. Big fat really, really short shrouded barrel, it looks like something from the future. It really does. They look nothing like the older guns. Just look at look at the features on it. It's just everything's carbon fibre. It's just such a different way of doing things. And that is, I suppose, what typifies your tactical rifle, the Uragan Compact. And of course, this Priest. Now, I know beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and I actually think that both of those, in their own sort of peculiar way, are actually quite smart looking rifles. But it's fair to say, I think, be hard to fall in love with a gun like that. There's something about these old style, and again, don't be confused by the fact that this is just a break barrel air rifle. This is actually an extremely advanced and complicated and very, very thoroughly modern machine. The craftsmanship and the machinery inside of this thing to keep the muzzle report, not the muzzle report, the recoil down, and to make it really smooth shooting. It's a really advanced technological bit of equipment. There's a lot of thought, a lot of work, a lot of design gone into making this rifle. Just because it's a Springer doesn't mean that it's any less technologically advanced than something like the Priest. There's a lot gone into making these really smooth, like the tuned rifles of the 80s and the 90s. You know, it's got like smooth nylon bearings everywhere, counter-rotating pistons and things. There's all sorts of gummings inside of these things to make them shoot a lot smoother these days. It's a work of engineering art, even though it looks, to all intents and purposes, like a rifle that you could probably have bought in the 70s and 80s. But it most certainly on the inside isn't. But these guns are easy to fall in love with. You know, the craftsmanship, the beautiful bluing. You know, there's something about shooting a gun like this. It's like gorgeous stock, so tactile, beautiful things. Things that you're going to probably keep for donkey's years. Maybe even pass down. They're just lovely things. And the Steyr's the same. PCP, yes, PCP. But look at it. You know, look at that stock. It is gorgeous. Beautiful barrels. Just a gorgeous thing. And then you look at the Priest, and here we've got the ultimate in functionality. No front stock. You hold the air cylinder. You know, rubber pistol grip. Virtually no stock at the back. All metal. It really is a functional, just a piece of functional engineering. Now, I'm not taking anything away from this rifle. I love this rifle. It's a phenomenal bit of kit, and it shoots just as well, if not slightly better actually, than the Steyr. The groups I've had so far from this thing have been extraordinary. They really have. It's really, really accurate. And the little Uragan as well, another gun. Extremely accurate, my favourite night shooting rifle. This has jumped right up there with the number of rabbits this has had since I've had it. It's an incredible piece of kit for night shooting. Fitted out with this pard. I mean, look at it. It's the epitome of a modern sort of tactical rifle. Fitted up with a modern sort of tactical scope. All digital. Shoots by night and day. Full colour picture in the day. Black and white at night. But, you know, it really is the ultimate in little tactical rifle setups. So that's what you've got, really. That's the choice of most rifles these days. In fact, all rifles fall into one or the other camp. And it has to be said that the tactical look seems to be forging ahead at the minute. Almost everything that comes out that's new is a tactical looking rifle. And they're just so common now, so popular. This tactical look is just everywhere you look. Every new release, tactical rifles. Only really in the spring gun world are you still seeing this adherence to the old style Woodstocks, blued actions. Even the Woodstocked beautiful PCPs are giving way to some that have got a huge buddy bottle air system at the front that takes away from their smooth lines. There's very few that are still as streamlined and beautiful as this Steyr. There's the Day State Huntsman, some of the air arm stuff, but there's not a lot. There's not a lot that hasn't strayed off into the tactical world. So that's your choice, really. Unless you're lucky like I am, where I have got a selection of, well, what I consider to be round about the best at the minute. The Master Pro, superb shooting spring rifle, and a proper favourite of mine to take away whenever I go on holiday. It's so easy with the spring rifle. You need nothing. You need the rifle and a couple of tins of pellets and off you go. That's it. And then tactical guns. This Priest 2, phenomenally accurate rifle. It's ridiculously good. Night hunting setup. This rather beautiful little tiny Uragan, which is really small, very compact, extremely well made. And then this beautiful classically styled, super accurate shooting, semi-automatic, self-indexing Steyr Hunting 5 Auto, which is a stunning rifle. So there you go. That's four of my favourite guns at the minute. And you just really get to see how completely different the more traditionally styled rifles are from these new ultra tactical look that's taking the airgunning world by storm, or has done for a couple of years now, and seems to be at no sign of it stopping. It's just steamrolling away. Every new rifle that comes out seems to be more and more tactical, which is no bad thing because they're fantastic things. They really are. Some of them are superb. These two here, both of those, superb rifles. For hunting, superb. But they're not the sort of gun that looks like it's got a bit of a soul to it, like the Steyr and the Master Pro. But at the end of the day, depends what you want. If you just want something that's going to be simple to look after, deadly accurate, and you can put any bit of kit that you buy on, then you've got to go down that tactical route. Because it's fair to be said that the ones with walnut stocks, the more and blued actions and whatnot, do require a little bit more care and attention than the more tactical stuff, purely because those plastic rubberized stocks are so easy to wipe over, and these modern hard anodized finishes that go on the barrels and on the actions are so easy to look after compared to the old-fashioned bluing. But at the end of the day, the old guns do have a soul, and I think the modern tactical style rifles are more of a functional machine. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.